Sometimes I go through like bouts of existentialism and just wondering what I'm really doing in my life because I haven't really worked since March. What am I supposed to do with all these Thanksgiving leftovers? But first, let's get drunk.
Welcome to Drunk Dining, where we get drunk and cook food.
Hey guys, welcome back to Drunk Dining. So today is the final episode of our Thanksgiving trilogy. We did it, guys. So we're going to take all the fundamentals we learned and create one kick-ass Thanksgiving leftover sandwich. You would think after doing this a whole year, I get better, but no. No. So you remember that turkey we made the last episode? Well, we need to take it apart now. Yes, I know, it's not the same turkey, okay? It's a brand new one. I hope you guys are doing good. I feel like I've been great. Sometimes I go through like bouts of existentialism and just wondering what I'm really doing in my life because I haven't really worked since March. I mean, I did work that one shift, but you know, I did go back to work for a day. So in the first part of the trilogy, I take apart a chicken. Basically, we're going to do the exact same thing, except it's a 20-pound turkey instead. So we're going to start off with the breast, and we're going to carve off as much of that as we possibly can. And then we're going to separate the leg. We're just disconnecting it from the joint like how we did before. And then finally just the wing, and we're just going to disconnect that right where it connects to the body. And then we're just going to turn it around and do the same thing with the other side. And don't forget to feed the dog some, because the dogs can actually have this. And if we did this right, we should just have a turkey carcass left. Cheers to Omid for my Patreon. Thank you for supporting the show. I've been questioning my sexuality lately. It's not because I have like all of a sudden urges for males. I mean, technically... Now it's bread making time. So in a large bowl, we're gonna weigh out 542 grams of bread flour. We're gonna do about 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, and then 1 packet of instant yeast. See, that's why it's so confusing, because all these dudes that I had crushes on back in the day used to be girls, 2 of them to be exact. Now all of a sudden they're dudes, and I'm happy for them, you know? One of the crushes was Elliot Page. Admire him. I'm all for this transgender movement. But hey, when he was in Juno, he was fucking hot. I still think he's pretty fucking hot. I mean, I already had moments where I questioned if I was gay or not. So make sure to thoroughly mix your dry ingredients, and we're gonna slowly drizzle 360 grams of warm water. Make sure it's 90 degrees with a thermometer. There's this dude that I still think he's pretty fucking hot. But when he was a she, I was like obsessed with him that was once a she. Cause I mean, I'm still like, you see why this gets confusing? And now it's time to knead the dough. Make sure to liberally flour your work surface, and then get ready to put on some jams because you're gonna be getting a little bit of a workout. Now, I'm not the best at this, but basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the palm of my hand and I'm pushing the dough forward just to get some elasticity, and I'm gonna fold it back and I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees, and I'm gonna do the same method over and over again. And basically I'm applying flour to it as I go. That way it doesn't get too sticky, because it's gonna kind of wanna stick to your hand, but the more you get that elasticity going, the more firm of a dough you're gonna have, therefore better bread. When he was a she, he's still hot. I'm just gonna take a shot. Cheers. Oh, I have nothing against dating a transgender of either end of the spectrum. Hey, if that dude transitioned to a female and looks like Alexandra Daddario and was once biologically a male, I'm like, fucking like, let's go, you know? Fuck it. And then we're gonna put it back in the bowl, and we're gonna let it proof for about 2 hours. So as it sits at room temperature, it should double in size. And then we're gonna uncover the plastic wrap, and we're gonna lightly deflate it. And we're gonna take the dough out, and we're gonna separate it into 2 halves. Roughly form some rectangles out of the 2 halves, and then we're just gonna kind of work on one each. So with our first one, look at it kind of like a piece of paper. If you remember elementary school, we're gonna fold this hamburger style, but in threes. We're gonna slightly roll it to loosely form it into a loaf. And we want that underside to bake, that way it seals the dough. I wasn't anticipating to talk about all that. You guys know how many times I've gone to a gay bar and just left blacked out? Not gonna lie, gay people know how to fucking party. And now we're just gonna put some cornmeal on our pizza paddle. That way that the dough can roll off once we throw it into the oven. And we have our oven preheating at 375 degrees. And we want to preheat for about 45 minutes for our pizza stone to get hot. If you don't have a pizza stone, don't worry, you can just do this in a pan and make sure to lubricate the pan so that the dough comes right off. Gay people will just get you wasted, and next thing you know, you're waking up next to another dude and you're like, why is my asshole hurt? And then you just kind of wobble yourself home. Don't talk about that day ever. No, that's never happened. Or has it? In the finishing touch, I'm just gonna score the bread. And I kind of score this a little too deep, but you know, I'm a go big or go home kind of person, so. And now it's time to get the rest of the ingredients put together for our sandwich. I guess after all that blah, 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 I respect all LGBTQ. They say sexuality is fluid, gender's fluid. And hey, if I want to be a girl one day, you know, I can do that. There are people around that want to be there and want to love you for who you are. And if you identify as a gender or something that maybe society doesn't understand technically or doesn't quite get, you know, we're all still learning, and it's gonna take some time. So we're gonna pull apart the turkey, kind of like pulled chicken, and then we're gonna finely chop up some rosemary just to give it an herbaceousness. We're going to get our canned cranberry sauce because we all know it's good. Don't lie. We're going to make a sriracha mayo, which is about 3 parts mayo, 1 part sriracha, just to add a little bit of heat to the sandwich. And finally, we're going to take our stuffing or dressing, depending where you're from, right out of the oven. And we made this with our own homemade chicken stock. So this is umami as all hell. And that's it. That's all we need to make our sandwich. Now let's hope Drunk Me doesn't mess this up. When I was younger, I remember talking to gay friends of mine. They would get offended when I asked questions. I was just genuinely trying to be a kind human being, and it's just a perspective I don't understand. Really, we need to be open. That just helps us all learn, and that's the whole key to society. So cheers to just being who you are. Whatever you identify as, I respect it, and I'm sure others will too, and those who don't, just give them time, because it takes time for everyone to learn. And I accept you as long as you're trying to embrace yourself and conduce positivity in this world. So cheers. All right, let's start cooking. This bread I made 2 days ago, it's fucking stale. Like, you hear that? Okay, it's not stale. I put it under water and like baked it in the oven for a second. Bread. Don't do things drunk. I play with knives all the time while drunk. Of course, it's a fucking bread knife that fucking hits me. There we go. Now I'll just pound down that turkey meat. You know? This is how you make a turkey fucking sandwich, motherfucker. Always build layers of flavor. A little bit of rosemary. You want bread that's basic as hell, kind of like the last girl I dated. You want to make sure that everything else just has tons of flavor. You got a little bit of fat from the mayo. Make sure this isn't a dry sandwich, which it's not going to be a dry sandwich because we don't make our turkeys dry here. You know, we're not Ben Shapiro. We fucking please our women. Oh God, I think I need more alcohol. After saying that, I'm imagining the comment section and one of the girls I dated just saying, "You never please me." We add our herbs, and then we're just gonna add some freshly ground black pepper. With the stuffing, you wanna make sure you get the crackly bits. You gotta treat this like your best friend. Look at that, all the crackly bits. We got fat, we have heat, we have umami, which is the stuffing, and then the last part is just acidity. This is actually adding both acidity and sweetness. There we go. Now we have all facets of in my opinion, a perfect leftover Thanksgiving sandwich. It's pretty stuffed. I like revert back to like childhood humor all the time. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Cheers. Happy holidays. Christmas episode next week. Get excited. Let's cut in this bad girl. She's a bad bitch. Oh yeah. There's nothing wrong with canned cranberry. Anyone who tries to make their own cranberry sauce, you're just wasting your own time. If you think you know anything, then you know how to make a good sandwich, especially a Thanksgiving sandwich. Hey, hoser. Right, Emma? I'm literally just like a single father. Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna be 100% honest. The sandwich is fucking phenomenal, but it's just like way too big. The flavors are fucking like next level. Holy shit. Cheers, guys. Anyways, thank you for watching Drunk Dining. I'll see you next week. If you want to fight me, I'll fight you. Okay, let's just fight. Hey guys, if you like this content, make sure to subscribe. And if you want my recipes as well as extra footage, be sure to check out the Patreon down below. Other than that, I'll see you next video. Oh god, I'm so awkward. Why?